Welcome back to the channel for another lap guide. This is your go-to series where I break down corner by corner one of the fastest times from one of the fastest drivers on the global leaderboard so you don't have to. Swiftly following on from the opening round of the Manufacturers Cup, we are travelling across to the Fuji International Speedway, short in Japan, for round 2, which is scheduled to take place on the 2nd of May. Join me as I take us through all the essential information you need to know, along with some tips to help you start as high up the grid as possible. If you're planning on competing in this race, stay tuned. You do not want to miss this. Let's dive straight in. We'll start with the race information. Here we have 10 laps, 16 cars in the race with a rolling start. There is a 5-minute qualifier ahead of the race. Fuel consumption rate is set to off in the qualifier and is set to ×1 in the race. Tyre wear rate is set to ×1 in both the qualifier and the race. So seemingly this is going to be a 10-lap sprint. The regulations are we have one usable dry tyre, and that is the Racing Hard. The intermediate and wet tyres are also available. Car category for this race is Group 4. Wide body, nitrous or overtake are prohibited. Under car restrictions we have BOP is set to mid-speed. Car settings, adjustable brake balance only. For race settings, DR and SR are both affected. There is light mechanical damage, minimum number of pit stops is set to none, and track limits are set to normal. And finally, penalty settings, shortcut penalty is set to weak. There is no wall collision penalty, colliding with other cars is penalised, and cutting the pit lane line on entry or exit attracts a penalty. Today's lap we are going to be looking at is, at the time of this recording, the top time on the global leaderboard of a 1 minute 43.025, completed in the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport 2016. Stick around after the lap guide for a real-time commentary-free replay of the lap from both the bumper and bonnet cameras. Feel free to use the chapter markers in the description to skip to the parts that you're interested in, but with all the formalities out of the way, let's get out on track. As we make our way down this outrageously long main straight here at Fuji International Speedway, our first brake markers to start the lap off, we've got the curb right in front of us. When you're around 2 cars length ahead of that curb, you can brake, or on the fence on the left hand side, the first speaker that you come to just before that reaches the edge of your screen, you can brake. And where you see this white line going across the track, once you've gone completely over this, we're going to start to turn in. And we're going to shift all the way down to second gear, and we've got 2 acceleration markers for you here. So the bollard on the inside of the corner, once you go past this, you can start to accelerate, or the big pole right in front of you. Once that goes across the centre of your car, you can start to accelerate. Use all the space out on the left, but just be careful on that AstroTurf on the outside of this curb. It can be a little bit slippery if you take it too aggressively. And we're going to stick to the right hand side all the way down to this next corner just to try and minimise the amount of distance we're doing. And our next brake marker is the Coca-Cola board on the left hand side. Just before that reaches the edge of the screen, you can brake. And where we've got our car positioned here, we've got our right wheels over the curb onto the concrete. This is going to give us a good angle for the next left-hander because we want to carry as much speed as possible through here. And the 50 board just up ahead, we want to make sure we're turning in before we reach that. Staying in 4th gear, we're going to aim towards this bollard to take the fastest line possible, and we want to use all the space that's out on the right-hand side as we go through. And just as we approach this curb on the near side, we're going to get back on the power. We're going to show that bollard some love as we go past, and you can just see here how much space we can use. So right-hand wheels all the way on the green concrete, left-hand wheels all the way up to the edge of the red and white curb. If we zoom in a little bit here, the red sausage that runs along this curb, it does appear that if you keep at least your left side wheels on the red and white curb and don't cross onto that red sausage, you won't get a track penalty. Staying to the right hand side again, we've got 2 brake markers for you here. So the exit road just on the right, once you completely go past this, you can brake, or the white square on the left side of the track, once this reaches the edge of your screen, you can brake. We're only braking hard enough here just to keep hugged to the inside of the corner. You might take a couple of goes at it. It depends on what car you're using. And for acceleration markers, we've got the Marshall box on the left hand side. Just before that reaches the edge of your screen, you can start to accelerate. Or on the right hand side, there's an escape road just behind that orange flash on the barrier. Once that becomes fully visible to the left of that orange flash, you can start to accelerate. Again, this is going to be very dependent, similar to the brake markers, on what car you're using and how you feel as you're going around this corner. I've got these couple of markers that I've been able to find from this lap so far, so I'm going to use them to start with myself, and then as I get more laps in, I'll start to push the limits to see if I can get any more time out. Now our next brake marker between the 100 and the 50 board, there's a red square on the fence there. Once you reach that, you can brake. The car will be going towards the right hand side, so as we reach this 50 board, we want to make sure we're turning back into the left. For an acceleration marker on the inside of the curb, there's 3 sausages. Pick the middle one. As you go past that middle sausage, get back on the power, exit the corner in second gear. We can use all the space out on the right hand side. As you can see, we've got our right hand wheels all the way on the green concrete, our left hand wheels all the way up to the edge of the red and white curb, and we're going to make our way down to the next corner. Now, just as that Dunlop sign on the right hand side reaches the edge of your screen, you're going to start to brake. We've got 2 turn-in markers for you here. You can either turn in once that signpost has gone past the edge of your screen, or just before the marshal's box reaches the edge of your screen. Now, normally we'd be braking hard here all the way down to probably first gear to pretty much turn back on ourselves and go through a little chicane. But apparently this is the short version of this track where they've got rid of one chicane and it's short. Okay, let's do it. So our approach for this version is we want to get back on the power as soon as possible. So we're going to cut across this curb, get our right side wheels on that green concrete on the inside of the corner there. And as we go across the curb, we want to get back on the power. We can use the space on the left-hand side. Just be careful of the grass on the outside of the curb. And our brake marker, well, there's actually 2 here. So we've got the white square on the outside of the track here. Once you go past that, you can brake, or if you prefer, when you're around a car's length ahead of the green concrete on the outside of the curb again, you can brake. Our turn-in marker is a little bit further ahead. There's a line that goes off towards the left on the outside of the curb, as we want to turn in nice and early for this corner. And our acceleration marker is in the distance. There's a Bridgestone tyre bridge. Once that goes past the centre of your car, you're going to accelerate. We're going to shift up to third gear just before we accelerate to eliminate as much understeer as possible. There is some room out on the left hand side which we can use. As you can see here, we've got our right hand wheels over the white line on the red and white curb. Our left hand wheels are on the green AstroTurf. Our next brake marker is the end of the red and white curb on the left hand side. Under braking here, the car will go out to the right hand side. This is quite an awkward and quite frankly difficult corner to get right, but you're always going to be turning left here, so there is no specific turn marker, but we can do our best to find some acceleration markers where we've actually got 3 for you here. So the first one, the curb, once you approach the near side of it, you can start to get back on the power, or on the right hand side there's an orange square of barrier. Once that leaves the right side of your screen, you can start to accelerate, or on the inside of the curb on the left hand side there's a white square. As that reaches the left side of your screen, you can start to accelerate gently at first, and we're going to use some space out on the right here. Now this does appear to be an exception to the track limit rules around Fuji here, where we've been able to completely go over the red and white curb, if we can zoom in, with all 4 wheels onto the red sausage. Your mileage may vary, but I am going to push the limits in practice, as that's what it's kind of there for. But in the event, try my best to keep those left side wheels just hanging onto the red and white curb. The positioning of the penalty line here at Fuji is extra punishing. It's just outside the pit entry, which is around a third of the way down the main straight. So a 0.5 second penalty will end up costing you much more than that in the race. Anyway, back to the lap guide. Our last braking marker of the lap. On the right hand side, there's an orange square of barrier. Once this leaves the right side of your screen, you're going to brake. This is similar to the last corner where you're trying to turn one direction and the car wants to take you the other, so we're going to be constantly turning right, so there's no specific turn-in marker. But there is a very big straight coming up after this corner, so we really need to nail it. We want to make sure that we clip the curb on the inside here. Our acceleration marker is in front of you. There's 2 orange squares with a gap in between. As they go past your right headlight, you're going to start to get back on the power. We're going to be gentle at first with the accelerator, but again, we can use a lot of space out on the left-hand side here. And we've got our right-hand wheels all the way up to the edge of the red and white curb, and we've got our left-hand wheels on the green concrete. We're going to stick to the left hand side all the way down here, and I'm going to deploy fast forward as it takes around 3 business days, and that is a lap of Fuji International Speedway short in 1 minute 43.025. I'm going to leave you in peace and enjoy the commentary-free replays of the lap from this insanely fast driver. We'll start with the bumper cam and end with the bonnet cam. Don't forget, there are chapter markers in the description for you to skip around to the section you're interested in. I'll see you back here after the replays. And there we are, that is the Manufacturers Cup Round 2 lap guide completed. Let me know in the comments if this has helped you out, and feel free to drop by after the race to let me know how you got on. Have fun and race well. It would be great if you could consider subscribing to the channel so you never miss another lap guide. And why not drop into one of our Gran Turismo live streams? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.